I was like, and he had to ask me what a snatch was. I should have said that. I just thought of that. Oh my god.
I'm so glad I drank when I did and not
Oh
in
my
that
god.
moment.
I didn't even think because it's so ridiculous that he had asked me what it was. I'm like, well, of course you.
So
How do you
great.
not know what that is?
If I represent, yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you explanation. I'm sorry. Explanation.
Almost getting interrupted when she comes home, or trying to tell her something very important. Someone says puppy poo.
I know.
Oh, that probably bonded us even more than the Great Pretender.
Puppy poo, you think so?
Well, I timed that. That was probably my best timing ever.
Was that before or after Pretender?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe after, though. I don't remember anymore. It's been
I don't either.
an age
Maybe
ago.
it was the same conversation.
I think you'd sent me the human Tetris and the Finnish people singing. Actually, their voices are fine. It's their English that was not so great. We're going to have to discuss that at length, I think. I think we could get away with actually playing the video and talking
Probably.
in between it because it's not U.S. I think because it's from the Finland from the Finlands. Geez, I've had
Yeah.
this.
Plus, we're not monetized, so
Well,
whether
I don't
it's
even
not
think
like
we-
they're going to get anything.
I don't even think you'd get even a copyright notice because I do get
Right.
copyright notices occasionally, like with Xanadu, but not for Phoebe. I got it for the actual trailer, and I'm like, really, the
Right.
trailer?
Huh.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of weird that way. How? But usually it says you're allowed to do this. Sometimes it's banned in Belarus and Russia, and I don't care. 'Cause screw those hippies.
But if you're not monetized, then once you become monetized, then you may want to go back and do
Yeah.
something. But
Not
until
worry about-
then, who cares if it's
Well, I'm like, you have to get 4,000 views in a year in 365 days, and 500 subscribers,
right?
and then you can get monetized, and there you can sell things like you can have them give you money if they
Right.
want to support you, or you can. I think you can have a shop on there like for T-shirts. Since I've got a super cool logo, I bet I can at least market T-shirts, and we have a cool logo.
Yes.
Not just Zenorama, but GD Explanations has a really cool logo, and you are a master at the twisty, well, the one that's coming out with the frames and everything, and
Yeah.
that was amazing. I mean, I don't even know I don't know how you did that. So
You just have to play around with the program. I did realize that on Riverside, I can edit the video
yeah,
so I might try see if I like it better.
it's a good. I think it's a good program, and if I ever do, I don't even know if I'll ever go to Riverside because I've gotten Clipchamp down. I actually edited that ooh Xanadu just to the part I wanted. I put the clip in and then cut it down to where I wanted. I was like, oh, that's not difficult at all.
No,
So Clipchamp's really nice too. And
It
since
is.
I pay for Microsoft 360, but not pay for an upgraded Clipchamp. But this, I mean, an upgraded Riverside might even have amazing things,
right.
or even more so.
The difficult part when you're cutting it down is getting that right moment. So when there's not a whole lot of time in between what you want to cut out and the bit before it or the bit after, to get it at that moment, that's what's a little difficult.
It is, and I've decided that did I tell you this, that I like presenting the Zenorama podcast as a live performance So if I
Yes.
make a mistake, I'm mostly inclined, unless it's really egregious, just to leave it in. Like, this is live television, because I love the back in the day when, and even like during COVID, when they'd be doing the weather or something from someone's house, and the cat would just walk, and the cat
Right.
becomes the big star because everyone wants to see the cat. And you know, my cat, the little black one, loves to hammer way into things. But that's the way I like to think of mine, is it's more live, a little less rehearsed. I mean, we're not very rehearsed at all. We have some notes, but not many.
Right.
But less than I mean, more than what I generally do. I have some things, and I know a lot of the stuff I already know the movies pretty well, or the television series.
Yeah.
Anyway, perhaps we should officially get started.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Welcome back, our Hellions and our agents. It is I, X7, your host of GD Splanations. I am the Agent of Awesome. With me, as always, is the mistress of the magical mystic arts and the lovely Lilith Draco.
Hi, welcome back.
This episode is about an actor, right? Well, I guess we
Yes.
should, maybe before we
Talk
get
about beers.
Yes, what you drinking there, Lil?
So, for this episode, I'm drinking Mother Earth Brewing Company Buku IPA. It's a 6.5%, so I'm starting a little bit light.
Oh, I like the cover, or the can.
Yeah, I did too.
Cuckoo or Buku?
Buku IPA. It's not very bitter, and it's quite light. It would be, if the bitter was better, it would be a good beer on like a hot day, because it
Yeah.
has that more of that light refreshing taste. But I don't like it because it doesn't have the bitter. So
What's the
I
thing?
actually went to a different liquor store,
Oh, yeah?
and so I got a little bit different selection. So
I got a bitter beer in the fridge you might enjoy
I think you've got 6 of them.
right now, and I've got to get another more. I also have 4 other ones that are of different flavors, but still IPAs.
Nice.
I hope they last. I don't know. They've been in there for a while.
You might have to drink them
No.
and
I'm
then
thinking, we're
restock.
going to Moab, and that is, west is that way, at least in my house. They're going to Moab. You can decide if you want to pour them down the drain. At least sample them and see.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to drink that Maha whether it's bad or not, because that'll be the cold one.
It would be, yes.
Since we have a fridge there's a fridge in the room.
Nice.
So, I've got a Allagash Ski House winter
Oh, nice.
winter white ale.
Oh,
It's a 7%. I like winter ales, Christmas ales, as they're sometimes called, Yuletide ales, as we might call them. This one's too sweet.
oh,
It's
yeah.
potent enough. Again, it'll get your buzz on. It's 7.5, but it's just, I mean, once you get about half of it, you don't care anymore. It's not that sweet,
Right.
but
Has
It's-
it been in there since Christmas?
no, they were on. Well, maybe at Wyatt's it was on sale. They were at the Pick Six,
Okay.
but yeah, it's just, it's not horrible, but it's not great. I've had better winter ales. It's a kind of beer.
Yeah. What's the difference between beer and winter ale? I don't know. We
can
could
look
look
it
it up. Things are about to get wild.
You just gave away the end of the episode.
Such a good, I love that episode.
Well, it has Ant-Man in it.
It does have Ant-Man.
Before he knew he was going to be Ant-Man. Who knew?
Speaking of copyright, I was worried when I initially created the intro and outro. I thought we'd get something, but it's been fine.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because YouTube will tell you, and I wonder, but there's such, it's like you have 20 seconds or 30 seconds, depending.
Yeah.
So I think, I try to keep if I use any music, I try to keep it under 30 seconds, or play a clip of 20 and then talk, play another clip so you can get the chorus or something. So I think that'll be fine. I mean, it's such a tiny little, it's only these
Yeah.
two clips. I think we should recreate our reactions. I might enjoy that a little more now that I've figured things out.
We can do that. One of these recordings.
Maybe someday. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe when we're on location
Oh
together.
yeah,
Might
that would be
more
good.
fun. So
I also didn't use a solid clip. I cut bits out and then I added the music to it.
yeah, you're such a
So-
good. You're so good at editing. You
Thanks.
might have missed your calling. I'm not
Maybe.
kidding. I am not kidding. You're just really good.
Thanks.
I would burn Brick really bad if you got a job doing that as a film editor.
That would be hilarious.
I
I
would
would
not.
love that moment telling him. Because I wouldn't let you tell him.
No, but I'd have to be there. There's no way I'm
You
missing
would have
that.
to be there.
There's no way. If he now he has a legitimate excuse to not know who you are. So anyway,
All right. So
Be
back
that
to
as
the
it may.
topic.
be that as it may. What is our topic today? This topic is Lilith's idea, so I'm a little in the dark as to why she chose it. So let's
Well,
find out.
I chose it because I was trying to think of a topic, and I went back through our videos that we've put out just to see what was some of the earlier videos to kind of get an idea of like, do we do superheroes, do we do movie, anyway. And I thought, oh, we haven't talked about an actor for a while, and I know we talked about talking about this actor, and so I thought, oh, let's do that now. Maybe that'll be a good one. Plus, I also know that he is in one of the movies that you absolutely love.
It's in, one I really love, and several I've seen.
So that's why I chose him.
Well, that's a good idea. Do you want to tell the people, tell the fans, tell the people who they are?
So we're going to be talking about the actor and comedian Gene Wilder. I think he also produced. Did he produce and direct some too?
I just pulled up his stay. Wilder directed and wrote several of them, and I'm sure he got some kind of production credit on there, because if you're doing that, you generally get like an executive producer or associate producer because it's more money.
Right.
The more credits you have, the more money you get. Sometimes, unless you take a percentage. I know
Yeah.
way too much about the movie industry. You know
I
whose
don't
fault
know.
that is?
I don't know if the younger generations would know who he is, because he's older when
Yeah, he's well, let me look here. Gene
he
is
was
now-
born June 11th, 1933, and then died August 29th, 2016.
Jeez.
So he's been dead 9 years.
I thought he was still alive.
Nope.
I mean,
He's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where he was
Milwaukee,
born.
which means the good land in Algonquin. Thank you, Wayne's World. Getting banned.
Yes.
We can always bring it back to that.
He was married twice. His
Right.
first spouse was Gilda Radner. They were married from 1984 to 1989. She actually passed, and so she
Nice.
was an actor, comedian, and she was on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that's so young.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yep.
If you ever want to hear a really hilarious song, find the uncensored version of Gilda singing Let's Talk Dirty to the Animals.
Mm.
I only heard the censored one on Dr. Demento, so I had to try to figure out what the bleeps were covering. And then when I heard the real one, thanks to Brick,
Yes.
parents had it. I was like, and he had to ask me what a snatch was. I should have said that. I just thought of that. Oh my God.
I'm so glad I drank when I did and not
Oh my
in that
God.
moment.
I didn't even think because it's so ridiculous that he had asked me what it was. And I'm like, well, of course you.
So
How do you
great.
not know what that is? I didn't know. I mean, I was like, we were like in ninth grade maybe. I hadn't heard that particular term. Because the end of the song is, well, it's let's talk dirty to the animals. Eat shit, Mr. Hippo. Stuff like that. I think Hippo is, but the very end is never let an alligator. I say never let an alligator bite your snatch, and then and that's and that was
Snatch.
that was actually bleeped as well, even though it
Of
was on
course.
Dr. Late Night on Dr. Demento, because snatch is not a dirty word particularly, but
Yeah.
even in ninth grade, I had not heard, even, probably because that was about 79, I'd say, when she released that album. But the song's hilarious. I mean, it's just funny. It's sung like a children's song. It starts out
Okay.
this really innocent, and then it goes into this. Let's talk dirty to the animals. He just looked at me like, well, why wouldn't? What's a snatch? I'm like, I didn't tell him I didn't know because I didn't want to sound that dumb.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I knew it was something probably private, but
What did you tell him? Do you remember?
no. I said, well, how can you not know? Probably something like that to make him feel
Yeah.
really dumb.
Right. Excellent. Even back then you knew.
He did. I told you that. Do you think I should drink this vinegar? Take a drink of this vinegar?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I knew. I told him. Well, yes, I do. That I did on purpose. Cause you're dumb enough to take a drink of vinegar. You deserve it.
Yeah, you do. So his second wife was Karen Boyer, and they were married from 1991 to 2016 when he passed. She was a costume
Yes.
designer.
Ah.
And then he does have one child. It was with somebody else. It wasn't with either of his wives. But her name is Catherine Wilder, and she's an actor. I don't know if I've seen anything that she's been in.
I could click on her name and see. It doesn't even come up. Just says children one.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very. It does say actually. Well, Wikipedia says he was married 4 times.
oh, mine didn't say that.
Mary Mercier and Mary Joan Schultz. I just think about
Interesting.
Mary. Must be something about Mary.
Meh. I wonder why mine didn't show that. I don't know.
It's moved.
And then the movies that he's most famous for is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Ugh. Factory. Take 2.
It's live, damn it.
And that's the one that I knew him best as in that role as Willy Wonka. He was in Blazing Saddles, The Producers, and Young Frankenstein, which I know is one of your favorites.
I love Young Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
What knockers?
I've not seen Blazing Saddles. I believe that's the one though that was at least part of it was recorded in or filmed in southern Utah because there's a ghost town that
Yes.
has a cemetery. I've been to the ghost town and to the cemetery and I've taken pictures. I'll post here of the headstones of the different characters because they left them there when they were done filming and they're still there. But the ghost town is pretty cool.
No, it doesn't say where it was filmed in Wikipedia. Good job, Wikipedia. Right when we need you most. But I believe it. I believe that you're correct. That seems like something I've not seen. Blazing Saddles.
I
Except for-
haven't either.
I mean,
I've not seen The Producers either. I have seen Young Frankenstein, and it is a great movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, though.
I saw it on its theatrical release way back in, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And, that was 74, and your humble agent was far too young to get 90% of those jokes. But we laughed at all the physical comedy, and my friend Scott and his father Don took us, and he laughed at a lot of things that we were like, what's the funny about the mystery of life?
Yeah.
I know now, but we were appreciative of the original Frankenstein movie equipment from 1931 that Mel Brooks used because he was such a fan.
Right.
And it's just a funny movie. I mean, I didn't know why Frau Bluka why the horses were terrified. Bluka means glue in German. And it's just
Okay.
this thing that they're scared of her, but it's funny when they say her name.
Well, he did work a lot with Mel Brooks.
He did quite a bit. They had a partnership there. He wrote. That was when he started writing, or at least wrote some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've also enjoyed him in The Frisco Kid, which was from '79, where he stars with that guy who played Han Solo. He's the Red Hulk now.
Is he?
Yeah, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford's the Red Hulk?
Well, yeah, because spoiler alert: the Red Hulk is General Thunderbolt Ross, who's an absolute asswipe in the comic books. I knew exactly who the Red Hulk was before I knew who the Red Hulk was.
You don't know his life.
I do know Thunderbolt Ross's life. Never liked him. His daughter was Betty Ross, as Bruce's girlfriend. At least it did in the comic books. So, but I digress. But the Frisco Kid's pretty funny. It's about a Jewish
Okay.
rabbi who goes out west and runs into this supposed bad guy, the Frisco Kid, and they have these adventures and he learns about the West, and the Frisco Kid learns about Yiddish swearing and all sorts of things. I watched it in Eric, my brother, and I watched it in the Dominican Republic.
Nice.
Yeah, it was on a VCR videotape, probably a top loader.
Probably.
It was 1981, so. But that was, and I haven't seen, I'd like to see The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother, because I like Mr. Holmes quite a bit.
I think my parents still have a VCR. You know, my parents that live here in the 1800s.
Right.
And they still have a lot of VHS tapes.
Yeah,
And some of the original Disney covers. All the controversial ones.
that you will see what you want to see in those covers. Whatever
Yeah.
you're looking for, you'll find it, because, yeah, spires, they don't look like anything at all in real life, right?
No, they all do. In
Yeah,
real life.
Because men built them.
Exactly.
I'd like to see I don't know what you'd call whatever women architects design from back then, but there weren't any because they didn't get to. But I'd like to see what they would look like.
In Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I want to say somewhere I learned that when he comes walking out of the factory and his cane gets stuck and he does a somersault, that wasn't planned. That was his own, I'm doing this.
Yeah,
And it
I believe
kind of
that's
surprised everybody.
Yeah.
I tried to look it up to see if I was right, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But I'm pretty sure.
I've heard it. Now, there's a channel called on YouTube called Minty Comedic, or it's his name is Minty Comedic Arts or something like it. He goes by Minty. He's I don't know if he's Australian, but he's got an accent. It's Australian for beer, mate. And he does these 10 things you didn't know about movies, and it's lots of fun because I think he's done Willy Wonka. Not 100% sure. I've watched several of them, like the Halloween 3 episode, which it's a weird Halloween movie. But he's very funny, and he doesn't tell me anything I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if that's a brag or pathetic.
Pathetic. I'm going with pathetic.
Yeah, I know. Is that sad? Is that funny or creepy? But he's a really good resource. I'd like to meet him because I think he and I would get along. I probably wouldn't want to Foster's, but
Yeah.
So I've heard that story as well. That was an improvisation right then and there because he didn't want to. And it works because I saw that movie when it was released. It was a big deal, even though I did a little research about it. The movie, and it was a big deal to us kids because that song "The Candyman" was all over, which Candyman Can, that Sammy Davis Jr. was his only big #1 hit, and neither of them sing it neither Gene nor Sammy sing it in the movie. But I have not seen that movie in a long time now. Lucille loved that movie, and I'm not going to hold that against the movie.
No.
I haven't watched it in ages, and I never saw the recent one with Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is the original title of the book.
Right. I read the book, and I have seen the newer version of the movie, and I don't like it as much.
No, it's less whimsical, I think.
It is.
And but did Burton do that with
I think
was it a
so.
Tim Burton movie? Yeah, I was gonna
Maybe.
less
So it's
whimsical.
kind of got that darker.
I mean, it's kind of a dark movie, even from the '70s. Cause
Yeah.
you didn't know those kids were gonna live. TV Tommy used to be at Comic-Con San Diego all the time. He was always
Really?
there. Yeah. And I wish now, I wish I'd have talked to him. I wish I talked to Jane Weedland of the Go-Go's, because she was always there. Who do I talk to? Jodie Whittaker from Family Affair and Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. And he was super nice. He was wonderful.
I didn't care enough about actors to talk to anybody at Comic-Con.
I did. Because a lot of times the actors of a certain vintage that, and they didn't charge a lot back then. You didn't pay $250 to get your picture taken with Will and
Right.
Hulk.
The only actor I interacted with was Tyrone Gibson, and he was in some of the GI Joes, I think.
I'm
Not sure what else he was
I never
in,
knew
but
who he was.
he started out as a artist, a singer, and then he started acting. But the only reason I interacted with him is because when my artist brother-in-law had a table, a booth at Comic-Con, he sat at that table doing autographs.
Oh,
And
nice.
so my brother-in-law got to talk to him, and my brother-in-law told me, and I said, he's like, yeah, he's kind of he doesn't want people to take his picture. Like, he wants them to buy his picture and then autograph it. And so me being me, I said, you know what? I'm going to go piss him off. I went up, snapped his picture. But in the picture, you could see that he was looking at the camera, like, so he caught me. Anyway, so then my brother-in-law introduced us, and then we took a picture together. But that's the only reason I even interacted with him, is because I wanted to make him mad.
Well, David Prowse, not David Prowse. Yes, David Prowse was at Comic-Con. Peter Mayhew was at Comic-Con. And who were Luke's uncle and aunt from Star Wars? They were at Comic-Con. The ones that got burned to a crisp.
Uncle Ben? No.
No,
Yes.
That's Peter's uncle.
No, I think it was Ben.
Oh, they had weird names. I don't
I'm
remember.
looking it up.
Well, Peter Mayhew, of course, was Chewbacca in
Yes.
the costume. 1800. And he was also the Minotaur in Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. Now, why do you think I know that? And, of course, David Prowse is two things, and one of them will interest you if you don't know it, was the gigantic body of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's big. I mean, he wasn't as tall as Peter Mayhew, of course, but he also was a bodybuilder and trained a certain young man named Christopher Reeve for a certain role as the Man of Tomorrow.
It was Uncle Owen and Aunt Maru.
Maru.
So I was wrong.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I didn't know at all. I knew it was something, but they got fried to a crisp.
They did.
They tried to make it look like the Sand People did it. This is the only time the Stormtroopers hit anything in those movies.
Yes.
Anyway, I'd like to see Willy Wonka again, because, I mean, it's such an interesting. It was not a big hit.
No, it wasn't.
Which
It wasn't
is
until later on that it
on
became
television.
a big hit and
Reruns.
has a cult following.
Because I read the sequel. I've never read the book, actually. I've read the sequel, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, where they go to space and fight the evil Vermicious Knids. And I was ready to see that movie, and they never made it.
Nope.
Jerks.
I only read the first one. I didn't read the other.
Well, and I've read James and the Giant Peach several times. And I
Yes.
loved that book. And the movie I liked for the
I don't
most
think
part.
I saw the movie.
It's got Jack Skellington in it and a cameo. But I liked it. But the kid, unfortunately, reminded me of a kid that I was in Kung Fu, when I was in Kung Fu back in the day learning.
Yeah.
And the kid was like his age, but he spit on me.
Ugh.
And I'm like, all right, I'm not doing it. What was I going to do?
Yeah.
I narked on him, I called his instructor, who happened to be my instructor, and said, I don't think that it's right to do that. This kid, he had problems. It wasn't just his fault, but But they put him in a horse stance later on, and gave him
Nice.
a Quan Do, which is the big. It's a battle. It's got a big hook on it, spear. It's
Okay.
a weight at the end, which you rode it on a horse. General Kwan's weapon or sword, but it was wood. And they said, "Here, you get to play with this," and he got all excited. They put him in a horse stance and made him lift it over his head. And this kid's like 7 years old. And he thought it was all fun for about 3 times, and then they're like, "No, you got to do it 10 times." I'm
Yeah.
gonna cry. I don't know if they spit on anyone else again,
No.
but I thought about it and did the right thing and didn't cause a stink right then and there. But that's not what martial arts is about. It's about respect. I should have backhanded him into tomorrow.
Something about Gene Wilder that I didn't know. I mean, there's a lot, but he served in the military. He was drafted in the Army in 1956. He was assigned to the Medical Corps and served as a paramedic in the Department of Psychiatry and Neurology at Valley Forge Army Hospital in
Wow.
Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. He wanted to be close to New York.
I'm sorry, I just learned something else too that I didn't know, which is amazing. But that's amazing.
Yeah, and then he was discharged in 1958. So he only served 2 years, but still.
I mean, yeah, more than I served.
Yeah. What did you learn?
I just learned after watching this show growing up for 2 reasons. I mean, the Electric Company. He was in as a voice in the Electric Company, which was children's broadcasting PBS.
Okay.
It went, Mr. Rogers, Sesame, and age-wise, Mr. Rogers for little kids, Sesame for, well, I still watch Sesame occasionally, but because Cookie and Grover are funny. And then the Electric Company. And the
Okay.
Electric Company in 1974 had a super special guest star, super cool guest star. They had the Spidey Super Stories. So I watched that thing religiously because I was not going to miss the first ever live action Spider-Man.
Of course not.
But they had cartoon segments, and they had they had actors. Rita Moreno did the "Hey You Guys." That was her catchphrase. Easy Reader was Morgan Freeman, and Letterman was voiced by Gene Wilder. And it's a word, it's a plan. No, it's Letterman. Yeah, plan. Superman.
Yeah.
So I did not know that. I love that show. They did have some very cute young ladies singing in now I'm forgetting what. Short Circuit was the kid group that sang some of the songs. I'm not gonna. Well, I don't even know what her name was, but she was super cute, and I thought she was. I was burgeoning as a young man
Yeah.
into young manhood at that point in time, but I was not going to miss Spider-Man.
Of course. Of
Because then
course.
sometimes Zoom would be on afterwards, and I like Zoom a lot too. That's where I learned to speak ubby-dubby. So Amy would not have been able to get away with that nonsense with me. Either Amy or Penny. George Doch nech Lilith? Can't believe you outed me that I knew Klingon.
Well, why wouldn't I?
Well, it's not like she thought I was going to be cool. And I don't know what I was worried about.
No. Doesn't take long to realize you're not that cool.
Well, you don't have to hurry it along, though. She thought I was cool, and you know that.
Oh. All right, any last thoughts?
No, Gene Wilder was a treasure, and, he and Gilda Radner, both treasures, missed. I just can't believe Gilda was gone that early.
Yeah.
It seemed like, I thought she lived longer than that, and cancer, I believe she had.
I think I read ovarian cancer, maybe?
It was not.
That might have been his mom, though. But I know they both died of cancer.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, they were such a couple. I mean, it was just perfect because she was hilarious. Yeah, 1989. Geez, she was young, 42.
Yeah.
Haunted Honeymoon, which I've not seen. Poor thing. Yeah, ovarian stage 4 ovarian cancer. Yikes.
Yeah. That's a cancer that once you're diagnosed, it's already
Generally.
so far advanced. It's hard to detect early.
Yeah, jeez. Oof. Well, anyway, they were a great couple. I mean, I just remember thinking that there are some people that you're like, oh yeah, they belong together. Like like Rhea Perlman and
Yeah.
Donnie. What the heck? DeVito, Danny DeVito,
Norm.
Danny DeVito. No,
Well, yeah, that's right.
Norm. We never saw Norm's wife.
That's
I
right.
did watch me some Cheers, but that was because of Shelley Long. Actually, I liked the show quite a bit. I did not care for.
Watched it. I thought it was good. I haven't watched it since it ended, but it's not one of my go-tos that I've watched over and over, like Friends and Big Bang Theory.
Oh, what's his name? Ted Danson was in that next series with Terry Farrell, who played Jadzia Dax in Deep Space Nine, who I really liked. Not that Trish would ever admit that, but I guess because she's really a blonde. It wasn't her answer to everything. She doesn't have blonde hair, no, but she really is one. You can't use that.
I did watch Frasier after Cheers ended, and that's one I've watched several times. I love it.
I liked who was the British? Jane Leaves was her name. Oh, I also liked his producer too.
Roz. It's the character's name, Roz.
Really liked Roz a lot.
Perry Gilpin or something.
She voiced
Perry.
Roz voiced Volcana in the Superman cartoon, who was a redhead because she had the power of fire-ish stuff. Hence Volcana. Cut the Darwinians. We have gone way off the rails like usual, but hopefully there's
So
not
we
too
know it's time to wrap it up.
It is. As my producer is telling me, wrap it up. We'll take it. So, my fellow agents, Lilith Hellions, our wonderful followers, I am X7, and this is, as always, has been my lovely co-host,
Lilith Draco. I wasn't sure if you were going to say more or not.
We're going to sign off, because I don't think we can top that.
Nope. Bye.
Bye.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
So you like the beer?
I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.